My name's Kelsey. I am originally from Arkansas. I've lived in Austin, Texas for almost a decade, moved down here after college. I'm a historian, so I have a master's degree in historic preservation. I work with buildings and I work with objects. I co-own a vintage furniture store with my sister. I'm also a writer, so I do some work with TPS, and I've dabbled in stand-up a little bit, et cetera, et cetera. So it was like August 2017, and I was finishing up my master's degree at the University of Texas. So I was spending all summer writing my thesis, and I was super exhausted and super stressed out, not feeling too great. And I had a lymph node that started kind of just growing on the back of my neck right here, about the size of a quarter, and got me some antibiotics. It didn't do anything, came back, another round of antibiotics, didn't do anything. And my primary care doctor was like, if this wasn't moving, I would be worried this was cancer. So I was like, what? When I went up for my follow-up, at that point, I had this lymph node, my supraclavicular node, I can't ever say that, on my right side, grow to about the size of an egg, literally overnight. So like the doctor comes in and he just ashen-faced immediately when he feels it. He was very concerned, and he was like, I want to do like a needle biopsy. And that it was just this like, wait, what? Like, whoa, where's the antibiotics? Like, give me more of those. Just totally not on my radar. And then he was, talking to me about results and when I'd get them and stuff. And I just remember looking at him and being like, but tomorrow's my birthday. Like that was going to make him not diagnose me with cancer. And he looked at me and he just went, happy birthday. Like he was trying to be nice. He had no idea what to say. I mean, God, I woke up on my birthday. It was a 9 a.m. phone call. I just like sat there and bawled in my bed for a couple hours, called my husband, or my fiance at the time. And then my fiance had called my two roommates and let them know what was going on. And when I walked out of the room, I just fell into their arms. It was very sweet. And they like got me Chick-fil-A for my birthday. They like tried to make it fun.
Maybe after you already told you lymphoma, I don't know how you felt versus like, oh my gosh, I need to know what exactly I'm dealing with here. Did you have that sort of anxiety waiting for results?
Yeah. Yeah, it was horrible. I mean, honestly, I tell a lot of people I've met that are talking to me because they were recently diagnosed, because that's such an anxiety inducing time, that the wait is the worst. I mean, not the worst in terms of like how you're feeling, but like emotionally, it's horrible. And it took them a really long time to get me diagnosed. And I went in for one surgery and it was inconclusive. There was the PET scan that would show the spread. And that was honestly, when I think of like some of the worst days of my life, the day I had that PET scan was just horrible, because not only are you jacked up on a weird carb-free, caffeine-free diet, but you're just sitting there while something is telling you how bad it's going to be. And I've never felt that way. It was horrible.
Can you delve into that a little bit more in terms of what that feeling was?
There was just something about at that point, I had already been through so much analysis. I had been through like so many different tests, et cetera, et cetera. And I, still had tons to go before I could start chemo, but it was just kind of those things where at that point I was just exhausted, and my parents were there and they were emotionally exhausted. And something about having a machine like analyzing me for an hour or so and telling me like what my chances of living are was just really difficult for me to handle. But I remember leaving the PET scan and just like collapsing in my dad's truck and like just being, so upset like that night and having like an upsetting conversation with him because he was always the one that had the answers for me and he didn't have them this time. And so it was just one of those things where I think we were just so emotionally exhausted at that point. We just kind of collapsed.
But did you ever think about like fertility or family planning or anything? You were engaged at the time, young.
I did. My doctor encouraged me to look into like freezing my eggs. I was surprised that the doctors were all like, you really need to look into this. Because to me, I was just like, I mean, okay, I just get on with the treatment. Like, I don't want to die. And I was 26 and I wasn't quite at the point where I was thinking about the immediate reality of having kids. Now I'm 30, about to be 31 now. And nowadays, if I were diagnosed, I think that it would be something I would consider way more intensely. But at the time, I couldn't even see past tomorrow, let alone like a future with kids.
So any last thing you want to say? I mean, in terms of, now I mean, 5 years, you and I had very similar treatment periods. You were a little bit ahead of me. I finished mine also in 2017 though. So this whole 5-year deal, I don't know for you, what does survivorship mean? I know it's like a phrase that gets taught or a word that gets tossed around, but what is that to you?
I'm still trying to discover what it means because I think I'm at the point now where I don't think about it every day. And then when I remember, that scares me a little because I'm like, whoa, that was me. That was such a big part of who I am now. And it is when it is the single-handedly the most important thing that's ever happened in my entire life. Good and bad, but mostly good, honestly, in terms of what I'm doing with my life now. It's taken me a long time to kind of deal with the fear and deal with the emotions I was feeling then, because you do push a lot aside and just go into survivor mode. And I'm still dealing with a lot of that. But I think that the most important realization I've had in terms of survivorship is realizing that if my cancer comes back, I am not automatically the same person I was when I got it the first time. It doesn't erase any of the progress or changes I've made in my life. It doesn't erase who I am. I'm a different person now, and it'll be a different experience.